Hello, North Campus. Welcome to our virtual area time for fall 2020 and our Parapro staff development. For those, I'm hoping at this point there's nobody in the room or nobody watching this per se that hasn't met me yet or doesn't know who I am, but my name is Doug Kendrick and I am the Assistant Director for North Campus in the apartment. And I'm going to share my screen here for a minute so we can get started with today's virtual time together. All right. So welcome again to our North Campus area time. I so greatly appreciate you all bearing with me as this is not the ideal. I would much rather be with you in person in a meeting space on campus without a global pandemic occurring, but it is what it is and we're gonna make the best of it, friends. So let's do this. So again, my name is Doug. I am the North Campus AD. I joke around with staff every year at this time that I'm just Doug. I'm not Mr. Kendrick. If you passed me in the hall and said, "Hi, Mr. Kendrick," I would probably either keep walking or wonder why somebody's looking for my grandfather. So please, Doug is just fine. Although the grandfather thing with the amount of virtual meetings I've had, and you can see in my picture there hanging out in my son's hammock, the gray and the goatee, I feel like has gotten a little grayer courtesy of 2020. And I've noticed that with the amount of times that I've seen myself on a screen. So getting old sucks. Hang in there, friends. So my office is in Lars Lear 100, which is right off the Lars Lear lobby behind the desk. My phone number is listed right there, 774-1974, as well as my email. Please feel free to reach out and I will touch base on that again later in our chat. So like I said, 2020 has been a challenge. It's going to continue to be a challenge, but you know what? We're up to that challenge. I say all the time that in Res Life, we adapt. That's what we do. I'm not sure that I've ever seen the need and the willingness to adapt like we have currently in our environment. And the hall directors and RD and I have spent a lot of time the last 2 weeks preparing for you all to arrive on campus, preparing for your residents to arrive on campus. And we're going to do this and we're going to do it together. So bring it on. I wanted to talk to you quickly about some updates that happened within North Campus this past summer. So Trout and Calkins in the courtyard behind Trout and Calkins. For many years, there's been a recreation area back there that quite honestly has been in need of some love. And it finally received that love this summer. Some of you may know that last fall, the sand volleyball court over there was upgraded, but they basically tore everything else out this summer and started from scratch. And there is now a new sidewalk that connects all the way from Bellows Street on the Trout side, all the way to Hopkins Court on the Calkins side. There's a brand new full court basketball court. There's a hammock station. There's lots of green space. All that green space is irrigated with a sprinkler system, so it will look very nice and provide some good space for our residents to hang out and get outside, which might actually be especially valuable this year with the semester starting a little earlier and giving us a little larger window of good weather before the Michigan weather changes on us. Shower valves, not the most exciting change you'll ever hear of, but shower valves have been replaced in Lars Lear and Robinson. And this is more exciting than you might think because for those of you who have lived in those buildings, this will help with water pressure, this will help with water temperature, and will also help with some of the issues we've had where when the buildings are empty for a period of time, you come back and there's like kind of some brown, gross, rusty water. A lot of pipes have been replaced to eliminate that or reduce that. So access control has been a thing here at CMU and in Residence Life for a couple of years now. And it continues to evolve as we try to navigate some of the COVID related changes. One of the big things that will change in North Campus is last year, the front doors of Robinson and Larz-Lear were unlocked during the day. Those will now be locked, and students will be required to tap in at the door to come in. Guests or visitors, which there'll be few of, will need to be buzzed in by the front desk or ideally meet their student outside. Desk operations have also been modified. The Robinson and Trout desks will remain 24-hour operations, as has been the case at CMU for many years. But the Calkins and Larz-Lear desk will have a change in their operational hours. They will be open from 10 a.m. until 4 a.m. There will be nobody at the desk from 4 a.m. till 10 a.m. And quite honestly, a big piece of this is budgetary and trying to make good use of our student dollars and be respectful of where our budget challenges are and what we can do to manage that. And capitalizing on the hours when there's really not a lot of activity in our lobbies and that sort of thing. So bear with us as we navigate these changes. It is a big undertaking for a department that has long had the 24/7 operation. We also have some changes in the Success Center with some of our personnel over there, and I'm going to get to some of these in the next slide, but quickly, Crystal Saddleberg, who has been our academic advisor for the last couple of years. Academic advising is currently going through a reorganization, and those advisors that have been out in the residence halls and the Success Centers have been reassigned to academic colleges. So Crystal will now be working with the College of Business Administration over in Grand. So she's leaving us, but hasn't gone far. And Darcy Bevan, who has been our success coach for the last several years. Success coaching and their office is also going through some changes, and those success coaches have been elevated to academic advisors and also assigned to the academic colleges. They will still perform some coaching responsibilities and that functionality with our students. So if we have a resident that would benefit from meeting with a success coach, that is still an option. It just might not necessarily be Darcy and definitely will not be in our North Campus Success Center. So as we work to navigate these changes that just recently occurred, they may be assigned or connected with a success coach that is in the college where their program or major is housed and not necessarily where they reside on campus. So introduction. So like I mentioned before, area time is one of those times during paraprofessional staff training that I really look forward to, and I love being able to spend some time with you all and answer some questions and have some discussion. And selfishly, it gives me a great opportunity to start to really learn your names and your faces. And that's important to me to know who you are and be able to say hi to you when I see you. So obviously, we don't have that opportunity here. So my big ask of all of you at this point is at some point in the next couple of weeks, as you see me around, or if you happen to be in Larz-Lear or you see me in the residential restaurant, introduce yourself, say hi. And I'm also going to ask for a little patience and grace. I really will learn all your names, but it may take me a little bit of time. It may take me a little bit longer this year because we all might not necessarily see each other in the same frequency that we're used to seeing in past years. So please, if you get a chance, say hi. If you've been to my office before, you know my office is pretty big. There's plenty of room for us to social distance and say hello and that sort of thing. So some other introductions that I want to share with you all. Very excited to share that Tim Popma is our new care advocate here on North Campus. Several of you may recognize the name or maybe even know Tim. Tim was the residence hall director in Sweeney Hall the last several years and is making a career shift and moving from being a hall director to a care advocate. And we are super excited to have him join our team here in North. I think you will all find him to be incredibly knowledgeable, skilled, caring, all the things you would want in a care advocate. It's going to be a huge bonus for us that he comes from our silly little world of res life and all the quirks and challenges and cool things that come with that. So he is certainly familiar with your role, with our roles, and look forward to partnering with Tim this year. Tom and Dave are back as our BMWs in Zone 1, which is the towers and the North Campus residence halls, and Matt and Roger continue as our Zone 3 BMWs in the 3 apartment communities, which again are Northwest Apartments, Quad Village, and the graduate housing. So glad to have those 4 back. They worked very hard this summer on a lot of different things to have our facilities ready to go. I also want to mention Micah, who is our director of the Robinson Residential Restaurant. Campus Dining has also undertaken a tremendous amount of changes and tweaks to their operation as we navigate the pandemic and all the things that means for our residents and their operations. So Micah has done a tremendous job leading that for the Robinson crew. One noticeable change you'll see in Robinson, among numerous others, is that there has been temporary air conditioning installed in Robinson this year, and that will be in place really as long as we need it. With the school year starting on August 17th, it's obviously going to be a little warmer in the area here for a little while longer. So instead of maybe in the first couple weeks that are a little warm, it's going to be more like the first month is going to be warm. So we made that investment to try and make sure that folks are comfortable down in the res. So COVID-19, by the time you're watching this video, you will have already been through a whole nother session about COVID and some of our preparations. But it's important to know that, yes, we very much are up to the challenge, and we're ready for this. This is brand new. We are learning, tweaking, changing things all the time, but we are up to the challenge. Very important things with COVID are the face coverings and the social distancing. It's important that all of us, faculty, staff, and students are doing this. It's especially important that all of us as Residence Life staff are appropriately role modeling those choices. It's a challenge. You know, a lot of us are quote unquote people. We're huggers. We're people who like to hang out in groups and have group conversations in the lobby about a wide range of topics and hang out in rec rooms and study rooms and those sorts of things. And a lot of those things aren't going to be great options for us this fall, and we're going to have to continue to adapt and navigate. Part of that is that we will have limited access to kitchenettes and study rooms within the Residence Life system this year, or at least for the start of this fall semester. In North Campus, the kitchenettes have been limited, so the kitchenettes that will be available in the residence halls. In Larzelere, Trout, and Calkins will be the terrace kitchenettes. Those are the largest ones, the ones most suitable for student usage, and quite honestly, the safest ones for them to use. And then in Robinson, it will be the second floor kitchenette. For the halls that like Trout and Larzelere, that the kitchenette is also the laundry room. Students will still have access to the laundry machines in there. We're going to ask that there typically be no more than 2 people in those kitchenettes at a time and that they socially distance. The stoves and refrigerators will be turned off, and there'll be some signage provided. There will be microwaves in each kitchenette, so students can go down and reheat some leftovers, make a bag of popcorn, those sorts of things. But we ask that they largely use those spaces as what I've kind of been referring to as a transactional space. Go in there, make your popcorn, and leave. It's not necessarily a place in current times to hang out with friends. Unfortunately, it's not even really a viable study space. You know, we want to just really kind of keep it for its intended purpose and leave it at that. We're asking, obviously, students throughout CMU to utilize online and virtual opportunities where they're able. So maybe instead of meeting as a group, FaceTime, Zoom, those kind of things can be good options. We'll continue to explore those options. Keep in mind that our students are navigating this not only socially, you know, it's completely changing the college experience for all of you as students, but also academically, and that's why we're here, right? That's the #1 goal, is to get that degree. So be aware and try and notice as best you can how students are navigating the changing academic environment, be it HyFlex, online, hybrid, those sorts of things. It's not everybody's jam to do those different modalities. So, try and connect with your residents as best as you're able and see how they're doing. And if there's resources that we need to connect them with, let's work to get them connected with those resources so they can be successful during these times. Lastly, but most important, is safety. Your safety is our number one concern. Our residents' safety is our number one concern. We want everyone to stay healthy, so please follow the recommendations. We are developing this guidance from everything from the CDC to CMU Health. It's ever changing. By the time you watch this, it's very possible something else will have changed. But we are doing all of these things with your safety in mind. There is increased cleaning standards throughout campus and the residence halls. There's hand sanitizer everywhere you look. We're doing what we can and always following those recommendations. So please take care of yourself. Speak up if there's ever a time that you feel like you're unsafe. Communicate with your hall directors and your RD, and we will truly get through this together. So, and I absolutely thank you all for your help as we do that. So some AD expectations, things that I expect of you all, goes along with the academics I was talking about on the last slide, but you are a student first and a parapro second. So very few of you are going to probably choose to go on into a career in residence life. You're going to go on and be teachers and doctors and lawyers and authors and probably a million other things that aren't coming into my head right now. But it is very important to me that you succeed in the classroom and not just in the residence hall or apartment complex that you live and work in. So please be focused on your academics, and especially in a year where a lot of things are changing, it's going to be important that you stay on top of those things. It's important to me that you meet or exceed expectations. My expectations, your hall director RD's expectations, the departments, universities, but maybe especially your expectations. Challenge yourself to really knock it out of the park this year and meet these uncertain circumstances with your absolute best effort. Take care of yourselves. It is important that you really do take care of yourself. And it's going to be hard at times. This is going to be a really weird semester. We're starting earlier than usual. We're ending earlier than usual. But there's no real break in between. We have increased the number of nights out for paraprofessional staff members from 16 nights per semester to 20 nights per semester. And I would encourage you to try and find a way to use those, even if it's to use a quote unquote night in, where you get to unplug from whatever your name tag says and just be yourself and relax and, kind of get away from the job for a night or two. Do that. You have the full support of myself and your supervisors to do that and to absolutely take care of yourself, because there is no spring break this fall. There is no, Thanksgiving break is essentially the end of the semester. So Labor Day is essentially the one day off that the college or the university has once we get started. So please do what you need to take care of yourself. Go for a run, go for a walk, take a nap, read a book for fun, whatever your release is, please do it. And as silly as it sounds, have fun. This job is a ton of fun. There's a lot of crazy things going on right now. There's some nights and some moments that maybe aren't as fun as others, but it should be a blast. I hope that when you look back on your college career, that your time as a parapro is one of the highlights of your CMU experience. So make sure that you take the moment to enjoy it and to have fun and laugh about all the silly things that are going to happen. And there'll be plenty of them, but have fun. A few more expectations. Media, if you're ever contacted by the media, be it CM Life, 9 and 10 News, whatever, know that our policy at CMU for any employee, student employee, faculty, or staff is to run that through University Communications or UCOM. If you're speaking to the media, you should only be representing yourself as yourself and not as a resident assistant, community council advisor, inclusion assistant, apartment supervisor, anything like that. You should solely be speaking for yourself as an individual, and not in any way, shape, or form should it be able to be construed that you're representing your hall or apartment community, the department, the university, anything like that. If you ever have any questions on that, please reach out to your direct supervisor or myself, and we will help guide you in that. So similarly, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world that isn't directly connected to coronavirus or COVID-19. And there's been a lot of societal issues, some social justice issues, some protests, activism. There's obviously a presidential election this year that's generating a lot of energy. You are a university student, and that is a wonderful time in your life to grow and develop and be active in what your views are and what your thoughts are. But very similar to the media, it's important that you do that as an individual and not as someone representing the department, community, university, like that. So by all means, you are able to participate in different things. It's just very important that you're doing that as an individual. Programming and community building. Community building is going to be huge this year, and it's going to be difficult at times. It's hard to really look into a crystal ball and know what our residents are going to behave like this year. Are there going to be less open doors because people are concerned? Are people going to be really yearning for that connection? Probably yes to both of those. And we're going to have to capitalize on that as best we can. We're also going to have to factor in where you all are comfortable as staff members in creating that community, maybe finding some new and different ways to engage that community, but it's going to be important. It's such a huge part of our student success here at CMU. So let's really work hard and diligently to do the best we can to build those strong communities in our areas. PRV process. This is the paperwork that you fill out if you're going to use social account funds for a program or event within your community or with your community council. My annual soapbox speech on this is please make sure the form is completely filled out and has your hall director or RD signature before you bring it to me. I will not sign it without their signature already being on it. So I try to get those turned around and back to you very quickly, but I will be a stickler for making sure that you follow the process and that your direct supervisor has signed off on it first. So please make sure that they've done that before you bring it back to the office, and then we'll get you set up and on your way. With that, I wanted to thank you very much for your time and attention today. I, again, so wish we could be together and we could be doing some kind of Q&A and getting some thoughts and some better introductions, but I encourage you to stop me when you see me on campus, when you see me around the area, and know that you can reach out with any questions you may have. I can't remember if I mentioned this earlier or not, but just know that I will not kind of overstep the relationship you all have with your direct supervisors. Lexi, Jackie, Adam, Lou are all absolutely amazing, and they are your direct points of contact. So I don't want to jeopardize that relationship. But that being said, if there's anything I can do to help, I'm always willing to do so. Willing to connect in person, face-to-face, online, whatever works for you. So thank you all. Have a wonderful semester, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.